We see ourselves as body, mind and spirit, as we see a car as the car body, the driver and the journey. It's easy to then work out what we need to do in each of those to have really good mental health and feel consistently well.
A little bit more about the body. How does that work?
Well, just like a Ferrari, it's an amazing machine and it's got thousands of bits and all of them need to be functioning properly for the car to have optimum performance. And with that, you would put really good fuel in it and you wouldn't run it very long if you didn't change the oil and put water in it and everything. It's the same with our human body. We've got so many different organs that all need to be looked after, housed in a human body. Our body is just to get us around so that we can move from one place to the other and achieve stuff. So that's the purpose of the body.
So we're looking at the spirit. How does that work?
Well, in this context, it's our life journey, having a plan, having a goal, working with other people, but having basically a reason to live.
Maslow's Order of Basic Human Needs. It is a fantastic way to base your whole of life. It's depicted in a pyramid with 5 tiers. The foundational level is physiological needs, which include survival needs. Things like we need to breathe, we need air to survive, our need for food, need for water and for sleep. All these things are necessary just for survival. If foundational needs aren't met, the human body struggles to function. We can't think, we can't relate, and all other needs become secondary. So our foundational level for our need for food, water and sleep, if that's not met, we struggle. We live in this most amazing vehicle. Our body, the vehicle that we live in, is actually run by our brain.
It's got a big computer that runs our body.
And that computer, our brain, is actually 200 million times more powerful than your laptop.
And if you stack your laptops up, one on top of the other, it would reach all the way to the moon. That's how powerful our brain is.
How does it work?
Well, your brain manages everything that's going on in your body, all of the chemistry that's going on. Every time we move an arm or a leg, there's a message that's sent from our brain down our nervous system, down our spine, that says, move. So your brain looks after everything. Every time we take a breath, we don't have to think about breathing. Your brain has been, let's say, programmed to do all of those things without us actually processing or thinking.
There's a whole lot of stuff goes on in the background too, like my brain, when I was born, knew the formula for human blood and it started making it. It didn't need to evolve over 1,000 years to get the formula right, because if it got it wrong in the first place, I'd be dead. Their subconscious brain, if you want to call it that, knows how to balance the chemicals in their kidneys. It knows how to make stomach acid, but it knows how to make stomach acid in a way that it will digest your food, but it won't digest the wall of your stomach. And there's all sorts of chemicals going on, like balancing your blood sugar and all that sort of thing. And we're just born with that. And this amazing computer is running it all in the background, even while we're sleeping.
Water is essential to all life. A human can only survive a couple of days without any water. We die if we don't drink water. Our brain is 80% water, as we've said before, and water is the best drink that we can drink. If we want optimum function with our brain and our body, water is the very best drink that we can drink.
So what things does it affect in our body?
If we're dehydrated, headaches. One of the first signs of dehydration is a headache. We can't focus properly, we feel tired, our mood is generally poor. We often feel lethargic and you feel a bit flat, you feel a bit sad, and that's often just dehydration. Most people might reach for a Panadol when they feel a bit headachy or just tired and flat, but a big glass of water actually restores some energy and restores the water into our cells.
Your car, after a while, needs regular maintenance. The oil sort of gets a bit cloggy and maybe you get some sludge here and there, and your spark plugs, if you have spark plugs, get clogged up and everything. So you take it off the road and people pull it apart and flush it out and sort out all the bits and pieces. And our human body, our brain particularly, needs to be taken offline occasionally, regularly. And and have some maintenance. And fortunately, our brain's programmed to do its own maintenance. We don't have to take it down to a German engineer or anything to have it done.
After 2 days without sleep, our brain starts to hallucinate. That's how important sleep is to us. And sleep really affects every area of health. Researchers recently found that the greatest benefit of sleep is a physical one. Just like our body has a lymphatic system that flushes all the toxins out of our body, our brain, being kept safe and secure with the blood-brain barrier, has its own cleansing system called the glymphatic system. And what happens there is during sleep, our brain is 10 times more active because of the energy required to cleanse.
But it shrinks too, doesn't it?
Our actual brain cell shrinks up to 60% during sleep so that cerebral spinal fluid can flush through our brain and cleanse all the toxins out. So, you know, on New Year's Day, if you've stayed up and watched all the fireworks, and some people may have partied a little bit too much, you feel like your head's got cotton wool in it and you're woozy and you can't think. That's the feeling that happens when we haven't had the toxins flushed out. Nutrition's really important to our mental health and our well-being, but nutrition is fundamental to good energy supply, to brain function, to mood regulations, to all of our health and well-being.
So what food will help our brain?
Fresh fruit and vegetables are the best foods that we can eat. Naturally, we need protein. Most of us don't eat enough fresh fruit and vegetables. Green leafy vegetables. It affects how well we learn, it affects our behaviour, our concentration. Our energy supplies are really important. If Trev's mood starts to get a bit low, we just put sardines on the bench to tell him that he needs some sardines, because sardines have omega-3 and omega-6 and they're a fantastic anti-inflammatory. So fish, cold water fish, salmon, sardines, tuna, they're all fantastic brain foods. Fish is a very underrated food for mental health. The other thing for mental health too is to eat regularly. It's really important that for your mood, and Trev will talk a little bit about his blood sugar levels with eating regularly.
When I was in my teens, 20s, whatever, I used to think that if I only had one meal a day, I wouldn't put on weight. And I used to have that meal probably in the evening. So I used to head off to work with nothing in my stomach, probably a cup of coffee or something. These are the things that caused my crash, I'm sure, because, keeping your blood sugar regular, or regulated, I should say, is a real key to mental stability and how well you feel.
So regular meals are really important. We're going to give you some simple feedback loops to empower you to manage your health, both physical and mental. When we don't eat enough fruit and veggies and don't drink enough water, we struggle to go to the toilet, to poo, regularly, and we might only produce bunny bullets. When we eat plenty of fruit and veggies and we drink enough water, it ensures that we'll produce a sausage poo. And it does actually result in improved mood and behaviour. So the first feedback loop for nutrition is a sausage poo. If you're doing a sausage poo, you're eating enough fruit and veg. If you're not, you're producing bunny bullets and you need to increase your fruit and veggies and drink some more water. Best way to tell if you're drinking enough water is by the colour of your wee when you go to the toilet. And our wee colour should be a pale wheat colour. And if it's orange or yellow, you need to drink some more water because your body's actually starting to dehydrate. Those simple feedback loops around your poo and your wee, little children love talking about wee and poo. Like as we get older, we sort of go, oh, they're things we shouldn't talk about. But you can teach a child at a very young age to manage their nutrition and hydration just by what comes out in the toilet. And the other feedback loop is for sleep. when you get up in the morning, if you feel cranky and if you're whingy, you need to get to bed earlier and get some more sleep. It's really quite simple. But if you wake up in the morning and you've got a smile on your face and you feel good, you've had enough sleep and you feel like actually getting out and doing what you're going to do through the day. So those three things, your poo, your wee, and how your face looks in the morning, are just really simple feedback loops that anyone can manage to improve their physical and their mental health.